So fun thing about my house arrest, I could have been off last year had the prosecutor that I had at the time not openly lied on me in court. I was pausing for dramatic effect, but I looked into the camera too long and now it's weird. So, in I want to say March or April of 2021, my lawyer argued that I should be let off of house arrest, right? The prosecution then countered this argument by saying we shouldn't let him off of house arrest. He's accused of being violent, even though he doesn't have a record. I think he's dangerous. Let's leave him on house arrest. Also, he has all of these violations. She then began to list off days and times for violations, right? These are days and times for violations. And the judge decides, yo, we're gonna leave him on house arrest. But that's not the end of it. No. Before the judge elects to keep me on house arrest, this prosecutor argued that despite the fact that the Cook County Sheriff's Department had cleared those violations, that she believed that I was sneaking out of the house, sneaking back in, and then calling county to tell them, hey, no, I never left. And she used the time that it took for county to answer the phone, which is generally anywhere between 10 to 20 minutes. You get put on hold for a very long time. Anybody who's seen my videos or has seen my YouTube, when I call them, it takes them like 15 or 20 minutes to actually get me to a person so that I can talk to them. If it's a call center. It's like calling tech support at Best Buy or Apple or some shit. It takes a minute. But she used those times to argue that I was sneaking out and I was just sneaking back in and calling county immediately to lie and say that I was in the house the entire time, despite video evidence that I never stepped out of my front door and never stepped out of my back door. I was in the house the whole time. None of the ports of entry were used. I have video that I was sitting down. I even have like recordings of the monitor going off while I'm sitting on the couch or like in the kitchen or even in the bathroom. They got me while I was pooping one time and I had to record that. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of video that I didn't do anything. And because she made those arguments, that judge decided to continue leaving me on house arrest. My lawyer argued that it's not true and that we could prove it. And the next hearing we had, which happened maybe 2 months later, she came back with a member of the Cook County Sheriff's Department to argue that I was sneaking out. So to recap, we argued that I should be let off of house arrest last April or so, March, April. Prosecution argues no and then lists a bunch of dates that have already been cleared by the Cook County Sheriff's Department because they checked and I was indeed at home. She proposes that I lied and somehow faked being at home. The judge believes this despite the hard data that I didn't leave. Prosecution comes back to the next hearing with a member of the Cook County Sheriff's Department to argue that I'm leaving, despite the fact that the Cook County Sheriff's Department's data is the data that's showing that I didn't go anywhere. And it's the Cook County Sheriff's Department that's saying that I'm not going anywhere. And they are the ones that are clearing these violations. The Cook County Sheriff's Department essentially cleared all of my violations. And then one of the members of their own accord showed up to my court case to argue that that wasn't in fact true and that I was somehow sneaking out anyway, despite the fact that they already cleared my violations. They cleared my violations, and then a member of their organization showed up to court to argue that they weren't actually cleared, despite the fact that they are the ones who cleared it. You see how confusing that is? Cook County cleared my violations because they weren't real. And then a member of Cook County showed up to argue that they were real anyway. Cook County cleared me and then re-accused me of shit that they already cleared me for. And because of that, we weren't able to argue me to get off of house arrest. And I've remained on house arrest for another year since, because a prosecutor had the freedom to lie on me in court. And because despite the fact that the Cook County Sheriff's Department has been clearing my violations, because I've been communicating with them directly and telling them, hey, it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I send them the videos of me being inside so that they could see firsthand that I'm not the one leaving. One of them showed up to court anyway to argue that I deserved to stay on house arrest and to argue that I was indeed sneaking out, despite the fact that I have showed them that I haven't been leaving, and they themselves believed me. If that sounds fucking stupid, it's because it is. It's because it is. There's no sugarcoating it. You gonna clear my violations and then argue that they're real after you clear them anyway. I don't know what anybody's definition of justice is, but I don't think it's telling a person, hey, actually, we know you didn't do this, and then having your coworker show up in court and try to argue that they get put back in jail over it, despite the fact that you cleared it.